Everybody's saying that YouTube is on easy mode right now, but is that the same case for business owners? Well, not exactly. Take Cynthia, who has a consulting business for helping public school students get into top universities. Like most entrepreneurs, she was posting videos on YouTube and Instagram trying to figure out what works. But it wasn't getting traction even after months of doing it, and it was taking up way too much of her time. But once we installed a real system around her content, everything changed, and she went from less than 100 views on previous videos to over 20,000 views on a single video in less than 30 days. And all she did was film the raw content. So yeah, YouTube might feel like it's on easy mode for some, but for business owners trying to earn trust and not just rack up views, that takes actual structure. So in this video, I'm gonna show you why the easy mode narrative is only true for entertainment creators and what you need to do differently to win as a business owner. But here's where things start to feel a little off, because what everyone calls success doesn't always translate to what actually moves the needle for your business. Think of it like this. YouTube today has gotten easier for some creators. Shorts get pushed fast now, and discovery is a lot quicker. The barrier to entry has never been lower, and YouTube is actively encouraging this. And in fact, the head of discovery at YouTube has said that their algorithm is now more supportive of smaller channels, which means that there's actually a dedicated team tracking new creator growth, like how many are gaining 300 subscribers a day, and then they're tweaking the system to recommend these smaller creators more often. So why are they doing this? Well, it's pretty simple. More creators means more content, more ad revenue, and more growth for the platform. This is a really smart move from YouTube, and it's just a great way to motivate creators to keep on creating. But here's where it gets a little tricky. If you're running a business, those same tactics might not actually move people closer to buying from you. Because here's the problem. Too many business owners confuse visibility with credibility. Just because someone saw your video doesn't mean that they trust you enough to book a call, let alone buy your $5,000 offer. So yes, YouTube is on easy mode, but mainly for creators chasing views and viral traction, which is a completely different game than what business owners are playing. If you're selling a high-ticket offer, entertaining content alone isn't enough. It has to establish credibility, deliver real value, and lead your viewer toward a clear buying decision. And that will still take a lot of work. But that's exactly what we focus on here at Upper Hand Creative. And we've actually created a trust builder framework for this exact reason. And if you follow it, your content won't just get seen, chances are it'll actually convert. So here's how it works. First, solve a real urgent problem that your audience is actively trying to fix. If it doesn't make them stop and think, that's exactly what I need, they're gone. Second, you need to prove your credibility. Share a quick result, a real example, or a specific insight that makes them trust that you know what you're doing. Third, you need to deliver pay-worthy value, not just recycled tips. Something so practical that they'd pay for it. And finally, you need to create an emotional connection. Speak to the thing that they're not saying out loud, the fear that they never admit on a sales call. That's how you move from content to conversion. So if you're skipping these steps to chase views, don't be surprised when all that traffic turns into, well, nothing. Because unlike entertainers, you're not just trying to get someone to watch a video. You're ultimately asking them to spend thousands of dollars with you, and that's a much higher bar than entertainment alone. And that means you're gonna have to put in a little more work to your content. So now you're thinking, all right, if trust is the goal, then I just need to keep showing up, right? And that's when the algorithm serves you a content creator who's yelling about posting 5 times a day. And suddenly, you're not following a strategy, you're copying what looks like it's working for somebody else. But that's where most business owners get it wrong, because they see somebody like Alex Hormozi and they think that's probably how they should operate. Now, there's a lot that you can learn from him, and I've studied his content myself, but volume-wise, if you're gonna try to copy him, you're gonna burn out very, very fast. The guy literally runs a $100 million business, so spending $70,000 a month for a team to do all of his content isn't a stretch at all for him. So in a way, matching the pace of people like this is kind of like entering an F1 race on a bicycle. It's ridiculous and downright impossible. But here's the good news. You don't need more content. You need a content system. And this is exactly why trying to copy creators doesn't work. Because the answer isn't volume, it's structure. You need a system behind your content that fits your business, your mental bandwidth, and your goals. That's a repeatable workflow that turns one high-trust video into a full week or month of content across every platform you're on. And the way you build that kind of system, it's actually pretty simple. You just need to follow these 3 steps. So first, authenticity. Your content needs to actually sound like you. This isn't just about what you say on camera, it's how you show up everywhere. Your tone, your values, your point of view, that should come through in every format that you publish. Second, start with long form. One strong YouTube video is your main marketing engine. It's where you build trust, share deep value, and show people what it's actually like to work with you. And third, use short form content to support that long form. Not to replace it, not to go viral, but to reinforce the message. Drive people back to the main thing. And that's how it all works together. So if you're watching this and think, okay, this makes sense, but there's no way that I can actually pull this off consistently, well, you're not alone. And that's exactly what we hear from every business owner that we work with. At Upbrand Creative, we've installed this exact system inside hundreds of businesses to date, helping them create high leverage YouTube content that drives leads and sales without hiring a big team or burning out. And if you want to know more about that, there's going to be a link somewhere down here below where you can book a call with my team to see exactly how this would work inside your business. But just because the content system is in place doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to. But that's where so many entrepreneurs get stuck. They fall into this trap of thinking that they need to appeal to everybody to grow. So they end up watering down their message, they make it broad, they try to be entertaining, and they hope that it lands with more people. But in doing that, they lose the people who actually matter. You have to remember, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, which happens to be owned by the largest search engine in the world. And this means that people who are on there, they're not just scrolling, they're actively searching for answers and solutions. And that's what makes the YouTube audience so valuable, their intent. So if your content shows up in front of them at that exact moment, then it doesn't need to go viral. It just needs to be the right fit. And you can still earn thousands of dollars just by being in front of the right audience. Let me give you an example of what this shift actually looks like. Take a look at Thomas Frank. He had a huge channel with millions of subscribers, and you'd think only someone crazy would leave an established channel like that. But that's exactly what he did when he launched his Thomas Frank Explains channel. It's a channel that he entirely focused on Notion. It was a smaller niche with a tighter audience, but it actually led to an interesting outcome. It doubled his income. And that's all because of what we're talking about, buyer alignment, which is why for business owners, YouTube is more powerful when it's designed for buyers, not browsers. And that shift makes all the difference. So how do you actually make your content more relevant, more likely to attract the right people and turn them into buyers? It starts by building it around what we call the big domino. So think of it like this. Your goal isn't to convince someone of a dozen different things. It's to get them to believe one critical idea, that your specific method or your vehicle is the best and the only way to achieve the result that they want. Once they believe that, buying from you becomes the next natural step. So let's say that your business helps busy professionals who want to get in shape but don't have time for long workouts. Your big domino isn't just you need more discipline, right? It's this, that short, high intensity workouts are the fastest and the most sustainable way to get fit with a busy schedule. If you can get your audience to believe that, every other objection falls away. They won't be wondering if they need a team or more ads or a different strategy. They'll see that your method is the clearest, smartest path forward. Great, so how do you turn that into content that actually works without turning into a full-time content creator? Well, most business owners are still treating YouTube like a standalone platform. They think it's just for education or visibility or maybe just for building a YouTube channel. But that's a missed opportunity because when it's done right, a single long-form YouTube video can become the foundation of your entire marketing system. This is where most people get it wrong. They're still starting from scratch every single week, recreating ideas, scrambling for what to post, trying to copy this viral trend, but that's just really exhausting. And because when you structure your content the right way, one long form video can become your highest ROI marketing asset because it doesn't just build trust, it builds leverage. And we call this your thesis video. So let's talk about what a thesis video actually is, because this one piece of content is doing a lot more heavy lifting than most people realize. It's not a random talking head video or a highlight reel. It's one strategic video that shifts people's beliefs. The whole point is to knock down what we call the vehicle belief. This is the belief that your method won't work for them. Because once someone believes that your way is the right way to solve their problem, everything else gets easier. They don't need convincing. They already just trust that you have the path. So if you think of this video like your indirect sales letter, it's not pitching, it's not pre-selling, it's positioning you as the person who can get them to where they want to be. And that you can do it without you having to explain it. That's why we build entire ecosystems around this one video, because when you get it right, it doesn't just create content, it creates conversions. So you've got two paths forward from here. You can keep chasing views, posting random content and hoping something sticks. Most business owners do exactly that, and then they wonder why their subscriber count grows while their client roster doesn't. Or you can build a content ecosystem with strategy that actually converts. A system where every piece reinforces your expertise, builds genuine trust, and naturally guides your ideal clients towards working with you with only a couple hours of work from you every single month. So if you want to see what that looks like in your business, you can click the link down below to book a call with my team, and they'll show you exactly what this looks like. We'll see you in the next video.